Welcome to EoZTV. I'm Elder,
Mrs. Elder.
and today we're going to talk about the big news from our blog, which was the UNRWA. Now, you, as my longtime fans know, I've been spending a great deal of time over the past few years looking at UNRWA, the United Nations Relief and Works Agency, and seeing that it actually does some things that are against what the UN's and what UNRWA's officially stated goals are. It is not a unbiased source, so to speak. It is actually very biased against Israel, and even though they claim that they're not. So I've spent a lot of time with UNRWA. I mean, a few years ago, I was looking at them and I saw that they're teaching Quran, which is not really exactly what they should be doing. I saw anti-Semitic stuff that was in some of their training materials. I discovered many teachers that would be posting on Facebook pro-terror and anti-Semitic posts. Each of these things, as they became known to UNRWA would either try to sweep it under the rug or they would try to explain it away somehow. The only thing they admitted when it got too obvious for them and when other people piled on like UN Watch was the teachers and their anti-Semitism. And UNRWA said that they actually disciplined the teachers. I don't think they fired anybody, but they forced them to take down the pages. And as a matter of fact, that's the only thing I ever was able to prove. UNRWA did send out a memo. I saw that the teachers were complaining a little bit about it. They did send out a memo saying, guys, cut it out. You're making us look bad. So that's
a little memo.
Yeah. It's but that's the only. I don't think they fired anybody, as far as I could tell from what they did. Today, I released a new piece of information that just was a new thing to me. I just noticed a school in an UNRWA school in Gaza, the UNRWA Gaza City Refugee, so-called Refugee Camp School A. I was just going through their stuff, and I saw last October 20th, they had a ceremony that they said was to. I'll put it over here. Here's the Facebook page. A week's events within the campaign for Jerusalem. Now, October 20th is interesting because that's not an anniversary of anything.
Do tell me more.
That is, October 20th was just, November is when all of the major Palestinian anniversaries are of when they call themselves a state, and they make big events around the anniversary of the Balfour Declaration. October 20th is nothing spectacular. Except it was about 3 weeks into the current campaign of Arabs stabbing Jews in Israel.
Ah, okay.
They said that they're having a campaign for Jerusalem. Now, again, it's very important to remember that even though the Western media says that the campaign of stabbings and shootings and car rammings and all the other terror attacks that are happening in Israel, they all claim it's because of frustration and it's because of occupation and it's because of that sort of thing. But if you read the Arabic media, that's not what it's about.
Ooh, do tell.
Yes, what it's about is...
Do tell.
Yes, I will. What it's about is two things. One is they don't want Jews to go up to the Temple Mount, to the Har HaBayit.
And why don't you explain real quickly why?
Because they say that it all belongs to them, and it is the Al-Aqsa Mosque, and the Jews with their filthy feet. Remember, this is what Mahmoud Abbas said in the mid-September. He said, "We will not allow Jews with their filthy feet to ascend to the what he calls the Al-Aqsa Mosque compound." So, and again, and I'm not going into it right now, but in many ways, he's the one that really started the current intifada, if you want to call it intifada, the current terror spree by saying that. But they call this the Al-Aqsa Intifada. They call this all about Jerusalem. The only other thing that makes them upset, that makes them also want to kill people, is because the Israelis would kill the people that were trying to kill them. So then they said, oh, look, you're killing our innocent people that were just trying to stab you. So those are the two main reasons, the two only reasons, really, that this entire, in Arabic, those are the only two reasons given for the stabbings and for the uprising. So when they say on October 20th, which was just, I believe it's just about almost exactly 3 weeks after what might have kicked off the current round, which was the shooting of the father and mother in front of their kids, the Henkins, in their car. This was, when they say that this is for a campaign for you, Jerusalem, All this means is a campaign to support the stabbings. So let's look at some of these pictures, and we can, you can
Oh, let's
see.
do.
We can see over here. You can see there are lots of pictures of these kids holding signs, and it's very interesting. What are they actually saying? So, luckily, I have my translator, Ibn Butrus, and he translated some of these signs, like this. These two little cute kids saying, "We will live like flying hawks and we will die like steadfast lions, and all of us for the Palestinian homeland." So they're teaching the kids that they should die for their homeland in order, and when again, in the context of this so-called Jerusalem uprising, they mean die while trying to defend Al-Aqsa. And it's a little bit more explicit in this next poster, which is going to be repeated later. "We will heed your call, O Al-Aqsa. Our blood and souls we will sacrifice for you, O Al-Aqsa." So this little girl is saying pretty much, hey, I am willing to die for defending Al-Aqsa against the Jews.
I got to tell you, I've never seen a more prominent case of child abuse than this.
It's unbelievable child abuse, and it's completely direct, and it's 100% UNRWA. Here's another one. "Jerusalem is our honor and glory. Let us sacrifice for her our souls and all that is dear to us." This is happening as an official school ceremony over here. They're standing in front of the outside of the school building, and this is done on an UNRWA school website. The next one, these two kids are holding, "My soul is a sacrifice for you, O Al-Aqsa. Jerusalem is in our hearts. Al-Aqsa is in danger. Everybody rise in order to save Jerusalem. Let us join hands in order to liberate and save Jerusalem." Then we have this cute little girl saying, "Our eyes are on Jerusalem. We will perish, and it will never be worthless." This sign is the same one we showed before. "We will heed your call." Then we have this one over here. "We are masters and not slaves. We are the ones from among whom a shaheed is born every day," a martyr. She's smiling, saying that we're so happy that a martyr is born every day. This one is the first one that explicitly mentions Jews, which shows that this is not against anti-Israel. This is Jews. It says, "If the Jews are the wind, the revolution is tornadoes." And over here, the poster on the left says, "How can the light appear if our blood would not be its fuel? And how could we regain Al-Aqsa if we would not be its soldiers?" So this whole motif of children's blood is what's being taught. Of children wanting to spill blood is what's being taught at UNRWA schools. It does not get much more disgusting than this.
Yeah, I can't even stop shaking my head. It's like so disgusting.
It really, really is. So I posted this in the morning, and I sent it out to a lot of places. The first place that mentioned it, which was very nice of them, was National Review Online. They had this little article, UN-funded Jew hate, that pointed to it, to my entry. It got several thousand hits, which was very nice. So I was very happy they did that. And of course they point out that the U.S. is UNRWA's single largest funder, which it is. They called it an elementary students' art projects. I don't think these are art projects. This is something that the teachers told the students to do.
Obviously.
The other thing that happened, but again, and we know by tomorrow that Facebook page is probably going to be taken down, because we've seen this happen before. I've played this game before. I discover something, UNRWA gets upset, and as a matter of fact, last week, the head of UNRWA, and I had this on my blog earlier, last Friday, the head of UNRWA was giving a talk at Harvard University, and somebody asked him about these anti-Semitic, things that were posted by the teachers, and he name-checked me. He said, we take very seriously all reports, even the ones from Elder of Zion and UN Watch, and we check everything out, which means they know about this. They read me, and of course I copied them on my tweets anyway, so they know this is going to happen. By tomorrow, the Facebook page will probably be down, maybe Wednesday. But almost certainly the Facebook page is going to be taken down. Not even just the posts. Maybe the posts will be, but I think that the entire page is going to be taken down.
Have you checked it now?
I did check it like an hour ago. It was still there.
Okay, great.
I did make copies, of course. You see copies over here, and I put copies on an online internet archive. So we do have copies of these pictures specifically. So we will always have evidence, and I'll change the links when it comes to that point. But nevertheless, the UNRWA will not want to know anything unless you pressure them. It has to be from pressure. It has to be from the media. It has to be from politicians. But it has to be pressured.
Well, I guess you're going to lay on some pressure now.
Well, luckily, one of my readers tweeted this article to Matt Lee from AP.
Okay.
And he's the one that always talks at the State Department and asks the very hard questions to the State Department, and he brought it up.
There's been another report about incitement from emanating from within schools run by UNRWA, the UN Relief and Reports Agency. Are you aware of this report? And
No.
if you're not, could you ask someone to look into it and see if you
Yeah.
guys have any?
Yeah, we'll go look at it. But we've talked about this before and our concerns with respect to that sort of rhetoric emanating from UNRWA. But we'll look into it. I had not seen that.
Could share it? There's been
Okay.
another
This rhetoric before.
Yeah, they've talked, and again, and it has been brought up, but nevertheless, if nothing else happens, the State Department is going to make a phone call to UNRWA. They're going to try to sweep it under the rug too. The State Department does not want to start anything with UNRWA. That they just don't want to. It's not not in their best interest to do anything that's going to defund UNRWA. In their opinion, as a matter of fact, in the Israeli government's opinion, UNRWA is still more good than it is bad, because if it wasn't for UNRWA, in their opinion, everybody's just going to become Hamas. However, this isn't much better.
They probably would.
This isn't much better.
It's
if
an
you're looking at it.
American-funded Hamas. Great.
Pretty much, yeah. It's funded by the West. It's a different version of Hamas. But there's nothing moderate about UNRWA. I mean, again, you can read it. I'm not saying everything. I'm trying to be as honest as possible. If most of the UNRWA sites, you look at them, they do have some teachers that are, really that are dedicated to teaching whatever they're trying to teach. It's not that every single teacher goes out there and is teaching hate. However, enough of them are, and we've seen enough of it to know that it's happening all the time. That the students are exposed to it. Maybe not in every class, maybe not in every grade, but between the time that they're in first grade and the time they're in eighth, they are exposed to disgusting levels of anti-Israel hate. There's no two ways around it. And so what we need is, besides the State Department asking them, we need to force UNRWA to answer these questions. We need to force them to actually take responsibility for once about this, instead of trying to just hide it and sweep it under the rug. And again, we know what they're going to say in the end. They're going to say, oh, it was an isolated case, it was one school. No. If it's happening in one school in which they were proud enough about it to put pictures on their Facebook page, then who knows what's happening in all these other UNRWA schools that don't have Facebook pages, that don't record their stuff. Who knows what's happening behind the closed doors of classrooms when the teachers are just talking to the kids one-on-one?
I think it's a given exactly what's going on.
It for sure is. It's not even a question. So this is, it's great that this got the publicity it did earlier, but we need more. We need to have everybody go to their senators and congressmen, or if you're in other countries, go to the people that are responsible for funding. There are, there have been some people in Congress, members of Congress, that have been very in the forefront of demanding accountability from UNRWA. For example, I know that Senator Mark Kirk has been one of them. I believe Ben Cardin is the name of the other one that's a Democrat that's been also in the forefront of doing this. Marco Rubio has been too. I think he might be a little busy right now to
Well, I think he should be tweeted, don't you?
I think I did. I tweeted a lot of people today about this.
I think you should keep tweeting and tweet some more.
Well, yeah, but everybody else should too. As a matter of fact, the entire reason that it made it to the State Department is because one of my readers tweeted it to Matt Lee of AP. So don't minimize the importance of tweeting and emailing to these people, because you never know which one's going to actually
Get
hit,
through
which
and
will
hit.
get us
Yeah,
through.
yeah, yeah.
The same sort of thing with the National Review article. It was, again, one of my readers just emailed to one of the editors there, and he put it up. So this was great. So it's really up to you. I did everything I could from at this point, and I'm still trying to push it out. But right now, it's up to you. It's up to everybody that's listening to this, everybody that's reading the blog, to be able to take the extra couple of minutes and write to media, write to your elected officials, and demand that they demand from UNRWA some answers.
And what your users can do is actually fund us. I think that would be a great idea.
Funding us would be good. Just imagine what we can do if we actually got funding. This
I
is what
know.
we do for essentially free.
And all I can tell you, it's important, people. It's important to make sure that you get those tweets out, and it's important for you to actually fund us. Make it happen. Go out and make it happen.
Okay. As end of commercial break.
This was not a commercial.
Okay.
This was important. This
No,
is
it isn't
something.
about- listen, I've done some good stuff in the past week. I'm very, very proud of the
It's
things
not
that
only
we've
the
done.
past week, it's been going on for years, and the fact is that there's a lot of inroads being laid, and the fact of the matter is that you can be a part of it, and you can help make it happen, and you need to make it happen. It's as much as your responsibility. You will make me very, very, very happy if you help us help the Jewish community. So please, take that into consideration, and we're looking forward to your help, whether it's tweeting, money, whatever you can do, you need to get involved and make it happen.
That's it for EoZTV for today. I'm Elder,
Mrs. Elder?
and we'll talk to you next time.